welcome. My name is Gatel Ruiz Nicholas. I am your host for the GRN show. April is Child Abuse Prevention Month, and today I'd like to heighten awareness about this issue. First and foremost, what is child abuse? Children can be abused in many ways, emotionally, physically, sexually, or neglected medically. And according to Florida laws, any person who knows or suspects a reasonable cause that a child may be abused by a parent or caregiver or other person responsible for child welfare, they must report it. But be careful before you report it because, again, this issue could be investigated and quite often it may not be probable cause for it. So our purpose tonight is strictly education and to basically bring you to many resources that are available to you as a parent and as a caretaker. So if you have children or grandchildren, listen up. Our guests this evening are Cynthia Reynoso. She is the Senior Program Manager, and Zoe Lewis, who's a Community Engagement and Marketing Manager for the Children's Services Council of Broward County. So ladies, good evening, and thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having us.
Yes,
Wonderful.
thank you.
Cynthia, I'm going to start with you. Give us a brief synopsis of the Children's Services Council and its role in Broward County.
Of course. Thank you for having us. So the Children's Services Council is an independent taxing authority established by a voter referendum in 2000 and reauthorized in 2014. And that's a lot, right? But basically, we were voted into existence. You know, the taxpayers, the community wanted us here because we needed more prevention programs for children. And so we have the Children's Board in Broward County that provides intervention. And so when children connect to a system, then they go into some programs. For serious CSE, we focus on prevention. We want to make sure that these children do not enter any negative systems. We want to make sure that they're healthy and they're happy and they have all the resources that they need to be successful. And so it's in a nutshell, we're here to support. We're here to support families and children, and all our programs are there to just make sure that they're navigating the systems that have been put in our community.
Great. And I have to tell you, I have been a friend of Children's Services Council, and I have nothing but good to say. I've seen it grow from 2000 up to today, and really kind of, we've done many partnerships before, so I'm a true fan. I know, yes, definitely. Tell us about the Broward Aware. You know, it's a campaign that will culminate this month coming up in April during Child Abuse Prevention Month. How did it start and what is it all about?
So we are all about community building and community engagement. And so we focus on different areas, making sure that children are safe through our Broward Children's Strategic Plan. And so we have these committees that meet regularly with partners in our community that look at these areas and try to focus on what solutions we can bring so that we can better help our children. And so one of those committees is the Child Abuse and Neglect Prevention Committee. Out of that committee, there was a need to kind of inform the community, inform the stakeholders, inform families about what we're facing in Broward County. And so we put together the Broward Aware campaign. And it is community stakeholders. We have Broward County programs, we have media, we have services. We have a lot of people that are coming around to try to put this campaign together for 4 months. And every month we focus on a different issue. We coordinate events that are happening, make sure that bring attention to those events, bring attention to the issue of child abuse and how to protect your children. So we have events for families to participate in, to get resources, to hear about the issues in these in these areas. We also have a campaign where we try to engage the community through social media, and also we try to engage the cities. And so there's a whole bunch of different pieces to the campaign. It's not just about events. It's really about putting information out there so that families can have access to it. And so we try to get people motivated, get people out, get people together, and give them the resources that they need in their language. And so a lot of our programs, a lot of the support we have, it's not just in English, it's in Spanish and Creole. We understand that our community is diverse, and we want to make sure that we bring those resources to them.
Excellent, excellent. So January, what do you do? February, what do you do? March, what do you do?
I'm going to turn that over to Zoe.
Okay, so yeah, I'll be happy to answer that. So, and we look at January. January is our human trafficking month. So this past January, the Nancy J. Cotterman Foundation, they actually hosted a webinar on human trafficking. They discussed what human trafficking is, the different forms of trafficking, how to identify victims, and how to help survivors and the resources for survivors. Then when we looked at our February is our Teen Dating and Violence Month. So we like to provide resources to our families to help with anyone who might be dealing with that. So this year, our Women in Distress, they actually took on hosting an event, and they had a drive-through distribution and resource fair that invited a lot of different community organizations to bring resources to the families, essentially. And then we also had that food distribution piece where we were able to provide about 100 food bags to any of the families that came through that event. When we look at our March event, so March is our family strengthening month, and we definitely did a focus on fatherhood this year. So one of the things that we did was we had a family fun day. So it was mostly interactive activities that we invited the different families to come out. We had 3-on-3 basketball tournaments, a Connect Four Derby game, things of different sorts like that, interactive activities. We also had the opportunity to host some Zoom cafes that focus on the importance that fathers actually play in families. So we had something similar. We had something called Daddy Issues, Healing the Daddy Void, Dad Up, how to support active fathers within our community. And we actually do have one that's going to be upcoming, and it's going to be on April 21st. And that's our problem perception and assault and battery. So they're going to kind of discuss how common relationship issues can lead to assault and battery. And it will allow participants to come to a space where they can explore warning signs and promote healthy and safe relationships within their homes and their families. Then we also want to look at swim safety. Swim safety also takes place in our month of March. And I'm a big advocate of swim safety and water safety, as the Children's Services Council actually helps provide funding for something called the Water Smart Broward coupon. So our families are able to access that on watersmartbroward.org. This actually allows families to get swim lessons at a reduced cost. And that's from the ages of 6 months all the way up to 8 years. They can use that coupon once a year for their child. And if the parents or their guardians don't know how to swim as well, they are also able to get a swim coupon for these swim lessons. This is something that I took advantage of with my son. He is turning 2. So we did our first set of swim lessons last year, and we look forward to continue using it all the way up until 8 years. And he is a swim fanatic. So I always these to definitely take advantage of that. And
awesome.
So that is what happens from January to March.
All right. And then, of course, April, we're doing the Child Prevention Month campaign. Now, people don't realize it's a major issue in our community. So, Zoe, tell us about the statistics of child abuse here in Broward County. And if you have some national stats as well, if you have, just tell us, what are these cases like and how many of them are there?
Okay, so I actually have the statistics for Broward County. I didn't come prepared with the national statistics for you. But last year, we actually saw an increase in the investigated cases of child abuse and neglect in Broward County. So there's a little over 11,000 cases that were investigated by the Broward Sheriff's Office. 666 of those resulted in the removals and out-of-home placements of children. And then 697 were children under the age of 5. So just to get an idea of what those numbers look like.
Wow.
So although this is a very, very large number, there were fewer removals last year than the year prior. So that is something that we are working on as a system as a whole. And through our CSC family support programs, we were actually able to help about 474 of those families that were referred to the Broward Sheriff's Office. So we're able to connect them with resources in the community, provide them with parenting classes, and help them develop those natural supports within their community and the systems.
I think that's great because, I myself as a parent, very often there is no book telling you, how to be a parent. And then, of course, I have 2 children. Each of them, they have different temperaments. So I'm so glad. I think the parenting classes, is something that will go a long way. So I really appreciate you guys doing that. We're going to take a very short break and we'll be right back.
Community Access Center ta yon fò sonje ke menanmen ak partner li kapab fil taxou depi en komou moins pase $66,000 ou kapab kalifiye pour fil taxou gratis si chéri sans payer un goud. Soti jounen jodi pour rive 15 avril 2023, il y a plusieurs locations pour fil taxou gratis si chéri grâce à Broward Tax Pro Coalition. Dans Pat Lawkins Community Center qui est dans Pompano Beach, Florida, tous les mercredis et tous les vendredis, et puis tout dans Miramar Branch Library. Pour fil taxe gratis, c'est important pour réunir quelques documents pour rendez-vous, tant que identification légale, d'abord de tout forme, carte sécurité sociale, bank statement, copie taxe année passée. Pour fil taxe gratis, depuis un commun en bas $66,000, les Community Access Center dans 954 534 91 13 ou carré tout dans 954 357 81 80 ou bien 754 999 0309. Fil taxe gratis depuis un commun en bas $66,000. C'est un courtoisie Community Access Center, mename ak Broward Tax Pro Coalition.
We are back with our guests from Children's Services Council. We have Cynthia Reynoso as well as Zoe Lewis, and we're talking about Child Abuse Prevention Month. So, I'm going to start back with you, Cynthia. What kind of help is provided to families to prevent child abuse? Obviously, Zoe touched on it a little bit, but give us a more extensive list of resources available and how do we prevent child abuse in our community?
So we have a lot of programs. We have programs to help families that have children from 0, which mothers that are pregnant, to children with special needs from the age of 22. And so our programs are there to support the families and provide them with the skills they need to be successful. Our family supports program focus on counseling, on connecting them to resources in the community, and to supporting that family through the period that they're in there so that they can connect to all those resources that they need. We also have, and these are all programs that have models that are best practice, that have been vetted, that are for our community and that will represent our community. We also have after school programs. A way to keep children safe is to keep them in safe spaces. And so after school programs are really big for us. It's one of the biggest areas that we fund. We have after school programs in elementary school, middle, and in high school. And so we believe that keeping children busy and occupied keeps them safe. We also have the Summer Youth Employment Program, great program for young people to kind of have the first experience of what it is to have a job. And so so we do job coaching, we prepare them, and then we place them in places, and a lot of them get hired afterwards. So it's a great way for young people to earn money, but also to learn about what it means to be an employee. And then we have diversion programs that help children that get in trouble with the law or misdemeanor. We don't want to see our children go into an avenue of going into the criminal justice system. And so we have these programs that they provide counseling for. They do community service. They do restitution so that they are able to move forward. And we also help them expunge their records. And so our programs are a lot. We cover everything. We also have a new area that we have funded, and it's the HEAL RFP, our HEAL programs, which focus on trauma. After Stoneman Douglas, our community, there's a lot of violence in schools, and so in our community, and so these programs are there to support families and to help them navigate that. And so, what you need, we have. We also have a huge camp. We have working with the homeless community, trying to address those issues there. Working with hunger. We don't want children to go hungry, and so we have a lot of programs that support food distribution. We try to fill those gaps that are needed in our community. And so when we see that there's an issue, we address it.
Awesome. Cynthia, this time of year, parents are really thinking about what they're going to do with their children during the summer months. Do you guys have programs for that?
Yes, of course. We have a huge summer camp. All our cities have some type of summer camp from CSE. And so if you're looking for something for your children to do to keep them safe, we provide summer camps that help them not lose their what they've learned from last year. So they do some academic remediation, and also they do fun activities, project-based learning, which is disguised learning. We also have swimming. We make sure that all our summer camps have at least a day a week that provide swimming lessons for children. And so these camps are at low cost to the families. We are in the business of keeping children safe and making sure that they are happy and healthy.
Super.
So if you want any resources, if you're looking for a summer camp, please go on our website, www.cscbroward.org, and you can find a list of summer camps there. We also have a great relationship with the Early Learning Coalition, and we also provide childcare from children from 0 to 5. So if you have a child that's younger than 5 years old and you need childcare, we provide funding for childcare slots. So it's like a scholarship, but also we have a pot of money that we call Vulnerable Pop. And that's for those families that are in real need of childcare, that they have a job and they can't wait until the paperwork is done. This is emergency childcare to keep children safe.
Super, super. So tell us about some of the events coming up. I know you have a resource fair on April 15th. Tell us about who will be there and how can families participate.
Yes, so April 15th, that is our Family Fun and Resource Fair that culminates the end of the Broward Aware campaign. It's hosted at Reverend Samuel Delaville Memorial Park in Fort Lauderdale. So at this event, families will be able to receive fresh produce from one of our partners, the Mobile Food Pantry. They also will be able to receive information about getting their taxes done from Hispanic Unity. They'll be able to direct them to the site, so they're able to get their taxes done and set an appointment up with the people who are able to help complete those. We also will have a lot of different resources and vendors who are going to come out, and they'll have information from all of the families to be able to get information. We'll have raffles. So for all of the families who actively participate in the Broward Aware event and they go see all of the vendors and they get a certain number of stamps, they're entered into a raffle system. So we'll have raffle prizes such as bikes and large toys for the youth who do attend. So families will have the opportunity to get gifts for their children as well. We'll also be providing food at this event as well. So families will make sure they will all be fed, and they'll come with the meal and they'll leave happy and they'll have fun and they'll have a great day.
All right. Well, that sounds great. And I've been to some of those events. They're a lot of fun and a lot of good services. April 15th usually is the deadline for taxes, but I know this year because it falls on a Saturday, people so they still have time. I would just ask people to consider and tax returns are pretty much filed for free, right? If they qualify.
Correct. Yes. So as long as they come with all the necessary information to file their taxes, they will be able to get them completed and they will be directed to that site where they can get that done.
Yeah. I have an organization that I'm also involved with, Community Access Center. They have sites in Pompano as well as in Miramar. Then they do file taxes. So if people are somewhere south of the county or north of the county, that's one of the vendors who might be able to file the taxes as well. So it's a lots of information for families. I really appreciate both of you, Cynthia and Zoe, for joining us and really sharing that information about Children's Services Council. So, ladies, thank you, thank you, thank you. And we'll stay in touch. Have a good night.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me.
Bye.
Super. Bye. And to our viewers, we will be right back.
Community Access Center ta yon fò sonje ke menanme ak partner li yo, li kapab fil taxou depi income ou moins passé $66,000 ou kapab qualifié pour fil taxou gratis si chéri sans payer un good. Sorti journée jeudi pour arriver 15 avril 2023, il y a plusieurs locations pour fil taxou gratis si chéri grâce à Broward Tax Pro Coalition. Dans Pat Lawkins Community Center qui est dans Pompano Beach, Florida, tous les mercredis et tous les vendredis, et puis tout dans Miramar Branch Library. Pour fil taxe gratis, c'est important pour réunir quelques documents pour rendez-vous, tant que identification légale, d'abord tout forme, carte sécurité sociale, bank statement, copie taxe année passée. Pour fil taxe gratis, depuis income en bas $66,000, les Community Access Center, dans 954 534 91 13, ou carré tout dans 954 357 81 80 ou bien 754 999 0309. Fil taxe gratis depuis income en bas $66,000. C'est un courtoisie Community Access Center, même avec Broward Tax Pro Coalition.
We're back. The Children's Services Council of Broward County is a great organization created with your tax dollars. It is not a handout because we all have worked hard to ensure those tax dollars are at work for families like yours. Many services are available at no cost and of quality. So it is important to understand anyone, including immigrants, can access those services. As we close this segment to highlight Child Abuse Prevention Month, I want to mention that hitting children with a bill is not acceptable. Leaving an underage child at home alone, whether it's nighttime or daytime, is not acceptable either. If your family needs any type of counseling to handle the challenges of parenting, childcare, and other resources that you might need, they are available to you. Let's all work together to protect our children and ensure they are safe emotionally, physically, and healthy. I wish you a good evening. And until next time, enjoy your Saturday night and good night.